the November 6th, 2014 regular meeting to order at this time. We'll have roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Dominic, Johnson,
Present.
Williams, Lynn, Bowman, Baker, Lynch, Escadate, Thibodeau, Cox, Smith, Jefferson.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Commissioner Thibodeau, if you'll lead us in the invocation, and we'll have Commissioner Bowman to lead us in the pledge, if that's okay.
Lord, we want to thank you for all the good things you do for us every day, and we ask you to give us wisdom to make wise decisions for the people of Caddo Parish, and we ask you all of these things in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone here today. We don't have that big of an agenda right now, but we do have some people here to speak. So next item is agenda additions. Is that correct, Commissioner Hopkins? Does any commissioner have any agenda additions that we need to add? Hey, Ken, you got him on somewhere, right? Admin report, Mike?
He's supposed to be an admin.
Okay, I got you. We're going to citizen comments.
Okay.
Any citizens who wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning, please fill out a comment card located in the chamber foyer and return it to myself or the clerk of the commission. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. And we're going to our next item.
We don't have any citizen comments. We have no visitors. We move to special resolution.
I don't have any citizen comments. Okay. Special resolutions.
Have a special resolution proclaiming November as Homeless Awareness Month.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Bowman.
Yes, sir.
Please vote.
You go read?
Let's vote and then we'll let you read, okay? That passes 8-0. If we have anything to present this to, or
Mr. She's here.
okay, Ms. Hennessy, you can come up forward, ma'am.
If you stand with me,
Here it is.
please.
Everybody will rise.
In the name and by the authority of the Caddo Parish Commission, whereas in America, a country filled with infinite promise, the continuing problem of homelessness is deeply disturbing, and whereas the most recent available data estimates that there are 610,000 people experiencing homelessness in the U.S. on any given night, and that more than 1.6 million spend at least one night in an emergency shelter or transitional housing over the last year. And whereas the current economic recession and foreclosure crisis exacerbate the problem of homelessness, with the number of homeless individuals is projected to increase by 2% over the next year, as the lingering effects of the recession and constant budget cuts continue to aggravate steep poverty levels. And whereas an estimated 5,200 people experience homelessness each year in northwest Louisiana, and whereas HUD's 2013 Continuum of Care on Homeless Populations reported that 1,318 children are homeless in Louisiana, and Louisiana ranks 48 out of 50 for the extent of child homelessness, and 46 when measuring the risk levels for families to become homeless. And whereas in 2013, Providence House served 979 homeless people, 275 families, including 578 children and 287 adults, and could not serve 207 families due to the lack of resources. And whereas in Louisiana it takes a wage of $15 an hour to afford a two-bedroom apartment or 2 full-time minimum wage jobs for an adult. And whereas adequate and permanent shelter is a basic need, its absence has an effect upon physical and mental health, personal development, and the ability to exercise individual rights and obligations. And whereas ending homelessness is critical to the vitality of our community, and we must commit ourselves to understanding the causes of homelessness and how to best serve those in the greatest need. Now therefore be it resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission meeting in legal and regular session November 6th, does hereby proclaim November 2014 as Homeless Awareness Month in Caddo Parish. Signed, Doug Dominic, Linda Johnson, Michael Williams, District 3.
Let me just say, give your praises to God, to our president and the other officers of this august body, to my members on the commission. Ms. Hennessy, I just can't find words because homelessness is not just been recognized. We may recognize it as 1 month, but it should be recognized 365 days a year. Because we know in America and in the state of Louisiana how we rank when it comes to taking care of poor people in this community, in the state, and in this country. And you have been the pillar that filled the gap for those that are homeless and lost and sleeping on the bridges that have no food, no clothes, no shelter. And oftentimes we take little things like that as a nation. We take those for granted. Until you walk the mile in those people's shoes, you wouldn't know how they feel. Oftentimes we get so high, we never know that we might be struck down that quick and may need your service one day. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, young, old, rich, or poor. It happens to all of us. Catastrophic thing does happen. So I can't say enough about the work that you do in our community. It don't go unnoticed. And we do what we can here at the committee to support your cause. I want to let you know, not by this small token of paper or proclamation, but the love of our heart. We know you are one of those points of light that God has in America and in our community, and we appreciate what you do. God bless you.
I would like to make a couple of short comments.
No, Ms. Hennessy, please, go ahead.
Thank you very much. They are short. Well, in addition to November being Homeless Awareness Month, Providence House is now celebrating 25 years serving homeless families with children in our community this month. And you may not know this, commissioners, you may not know this, but you have awarded us in grants since 1995, which was the first grant you awarded, over $227,000 to Providence House to serve the needs of the homeless. And so you are to be commended. And I want to thank you for the work you've done, certainly to help us in this effort. And since 1992, we have served over 4,500 families, with the majority of those, over 15,000 people, the majority of those are children. I came to Providence House in 1992 with 3 employees, little money, no program, and 25 families with children. And today, thanks to you and others, Providence House is the largest transitional and residential development center for homeless families in the state of Louisiana.
All right.
You know, it takes all of us
Yeah,
to make that happen, and y'all played a critical role. We currently serve 75 families with children every single day. We have a staff of 50 employees and a budget of $2.8 million. The majority of that, by the way, is private dollars. But we need the public sector dollars to help with that. So about 65% of our funds are private, because we believe that the community has to be part of the solution. And so any government money, any public dollars should be to help and not to provide it all. And so our goal is to break the homeless cycle for families with children, providing that full range of comprehensive support services to really improve that family structure, move them to independent living, to break the cycle of homelessness. We implemented this program in 1993, and it was the first program and the only program of its kind currently in the state. And since 1993, we had our first graduate in 1993 when we developed the program. Today we've had 418 families that have graduated. That include 461 adults, 906 children, with a continued success rate of 92%. So that is impressive, because those families are now productive members of our community, giving something back. But for those families that didn't finish the program, fewer than 10% ever returned, which leads us to conclude that even though they may not have completed the program, they gained enough skills to remain independent, which we think is very, very important. And of that 10% that actually did come back that didn't graduate, 50% of those families went on to graduate. But I think more important than all these numbers is the lives that are changed. And I want to leave you just with one short story about a family that we're serving today at Providence House and the challenges that she faced. Now, Marcia, which is her name, and her 2 preschool children moved into a house with no air conditioning and no running water, with the understanding that her landlord would fix these conditions. She also agreed to paint, and the landlord said, I'll take that out of your rent so you don't have to pay as much. Well, the landlord didn't fix the issues, and not only that, he took her to court and evicted her. The courts evicted her, claiming that he claimed that she had not paid her rent, and he also claimed that he never made any agreements that she would have to pay. When she left the court, she had 24 hours to get out of the house. So I say all this to say that Providence House is not only a safety net, but long-term solutions. And for people like Marcia with her 2 young preschool children, the work that you do to support our work makes a huge difference. And you may not see it, but it's there, and it's there every single day. And so, again, these families will remain hurt or healed or helped based on our community's response and my response to the issues of homelessness. And again, I want to thank each one of you for your continued support for programs like Providence House and many others that provide critical needs in our community. So thank you very much.
I think you got a commissioner that wants to.
Oh, sure.
Commissioner Bowman, do you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. That was a song that my mom used to play. It was "People Make the World Go Round." Well, it's people that care, people like you that makes the world go round, and the staff that works with you. And so it's more than a service; it's more like a ministry. And so I know it's probably taxing and tiring, but I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, and it's a great thing. And I'm sure this area is a better place, and more stomachs are full as a result of you.
We hope so, and
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so much.
That's a good work.
Ms. Hennessy, I know that programs like you and people like you don't, you work hard, and a lot of times you don't get accolades, but obviously, from Commissioner Williams' resolution and the commission, and understand that we're behind you, and we appreciate all the hard work and efforts that you do to try to prevent and decrease the homelessness in our area. And please keep up the good work and come back and visit us anytime. And we look forward to seeing you in the future, and talk to you later, okay? Thank you for coming today.
You bet, and thank you, you will.
Okay, next item.
Next we move to communications and committee reports.
Okay, any commissioners? Commissioner Epperson?
I have a property standards meeting scheduled for November 17th. That's before the work session at 1:30 p.m. Some of the items we will be addressing is the proposal that the staff is supposed to bring back to us in reference to maybe utilizing staff personnel to do some code enforcement work.
What time are we looking at?
1:30 p.m. 1:30 p.m. before November 17th, 1:30 p.m.
Okay.
And we're going to also reinforce the resolution that we passed asking realtors and title closing attorneys to make sure when they close on deals for people purchasing homes, or when realtors show homes, that they let the prospective buyers know that there are neighborhood covenants in effect, homeowners associations in effect, as well as property standards ordinances that's in effect too by the parish or whatever the city is. We're talking about how trashy and how bad the city looked Oftentimes when we go around and speak to people about some violations, first thing they say was, hey, nobody told me nothing at the closing that we had neighborhood covenants. Nobody said we had property standards. And I think, we need to just sort of work with them. This isn't anything that we are putting on them as an undue burden, because that should be part of your title search. When you go down there, those covenants should be in place, and those things should be informed to those individuals that's purchasing those homes. Also, the Veterans Parade is everything is in effect. It's getting wild and hectic now. More and more people want to become involved at the last minute.
That's how it always is, isn't it?
Pardon? Yeah, at the last minute, yeah.
It's not automatic
We got
yet.
90 units, over 2,500 people in, and people steady calling trying to get in. Got a little glitch with the flyover, the B-52 flyover, but that's always with the federal government. We had requests in May, and everybody over there at Barksdale said they hadn't seen it, but if it happened, it will, but if it doesn't, it won't. But the thing is, everything's in place at the parade. All of you have been informed as to where you stage your vehicles and where you line up. And can't thank Michelle and Todd and Dr. Wilson and our commission staff as to where we are at this point in time with bringing this into play. Weather looks like it'll be good. We're blessed with good weather so far. That's the way it looks. It'll be sunny and about 75. So we're ready to delve into it. Even the mayor's going to be here this year. He changed his schedule so he can be here. So we're looking forward to a good time. We got 11 honorees. It was a hard decision to whittle them down. We had over 50 nominees, but we got 11 nominees, one posthumously, Dr. Reverend William Hines. So we're looking forward to a grand time Sunday. We're asking all of the citizens to come out. All veterans and military personnel and their families get in free and free parking. The first 5,000 people come in get a free American flag. So we thank everyone for the efforts that they've expended up to this point in time. Thank you.
Mr. Wilson, would ask that Commissioner Johnson and I did get a complaint and an email from a citizen regarding the UOP plant near Morningsport off of Old Morningsport Road about an odorous smell it's causing. If you can find out the name of the plant manager and please contact them, I'll try to email you this. Actually came from Michelle. Michelle, can one of y'all send him that email, I guess, that y'all got concerning that?
Yeah,
See if
I'll be
we
glad to
can
take
find
care of
out
it.
about what's going on with the odor, if it's something out of the ordinary, or what they're doing, because we're getting complaints from citizens and residents that's been going on for at least a week. So,
Okay, sir, I will.
thank you.
Yeah, and I do have a couple of things, sir.
Hang on. Well, I guess let's let Commissioner Johnson.
Is the things about the precincts on Tuesday? That's part of your report? If not,
Yes, sir. Yes.
well then I'll wait until you get your report
Okay.
and I'll chime in.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I just want to inform you of a change. We had a commission retreat schedule, budget retreat schedule with you all on November the 17th at 9:30. Some of you all voiced concern about that. We moved that date and time to November the 20th at 1:30, which will precede your regular commission meeting that day. And the intent of this is to answer whatever questions you may have relative to the budget that we presented last week to you all. And I did have the commission request for information today regarding the Tuesday's election procedures and process. At Commissioner Epperson's request, we invited our clerk's office here today, the Caddo clerk's office, Mike Spence, and I think he is here to answer the questions relative to perhaps something that went on during that day. Is that right, Commissioner?
Like voting machines that was delivered to the wrong place.
Right,
And,
and he's here to address.
Parish machines.
Yes, sir.
Mike, can you come on up,
Mike,
sir?
please come on up.
Appreciate you being here. We'll let you go ahead and proceed. I know that you and I briefly talked about this, so you may can give us an update. Obviously, well, I'll let you tell them. Go ahead.
First of all, we thank you for inviting us here. It gives us a chance to share some of these problems and hopefully at the end of the day, get a little assistance from you to help us with some of these issues. I brought my staff, the election staff, Kara McClung, Sharon Newton, Regina Cornelius, Diane Doty, Denise Carey, and Ron Looney. Some of these people were actually stationed at the precincts in question. As we all know, Election Day is a very emotional day for many people. It's a very exciting day. We see many interesting things, like I saw on Baird Road and Burt Coons, Doug Dominic dancing, holding a sign. I should have YouTubed it. I could have made a little
Didn't do
money.
very good. It didn't work very good.
We need a video on that.
That's life. But on Election Day, there were problems. There are always problems on Election Day. People voting might not be registered. They might be at the wrong precincts. They think they should be able to vote for mayor when they actually live outside the city limits. There's many issues that we handle and take care of on a daily basis. But this election did create a couple of unique problems, one of which was the delivery of machines, as Mr. Epperson has brought up. We had one precinct where the machines for a precinct was delivered to a different precinct.
Right.
So at 5:30 in the morning, there was no machines there. The commissioners called our office, which they are instructed to do. The drayman, as they call him, who is an appointed position through a bid process from the Secretary of State, is the individual responsible for the delivery of the machines.
What's that again, sir?
His name is, it's a drayman. And,
It's his title, right?
It's a title. His name is Toby Trishell.
Trichelll?
Right.
Toby.
Toby.
He's what? A drayman?
Yeah.
It's a drayman. It's a,
Spell that for me. That's new
Uh,
to me. I'm old school.
I believe it's D-R-A-Y-M-E-N.
Okay, and what does that mean?
It's a delivery man. We'll just get right down to it. It's a delivery man.
Toby.
Yes, Toby the delivery man.
Does he do just Caddo or
No,
Bossier,
he
or-
does Caddo, Bossier, and several other North
Okay,
Louisiana
all
parishes.
right, okay.
Diane, do you know the exact parishes?
Caddo, Bossier, Lincoln, Concordia, but he may have taken on a new parish
We
this
don't
year.
need to take up no more.
Right. So for many years, it was Johnny Gilbert. Johnny Gilbert did it for basically my whole career, and then Secretary of State put it out for bids. This gentleman won the bid. He's located in Monroe, so that's a little issue that we deal with. He's in Monroe, and the machines are here in Caddo Parish. So basically, he delivered the machines to the wrong precinct. 5:30, the commissioners are calling our office. We have 6 people manning the phones, answering these questions and delivering the services that we can do. At that particular point, we contacted him. He found the machines and got them there. Precinct by the counter opened up at 6:50. We had a person sent to that precinct immediately from our office to assist, to make sure voters didn't leave. And from what we understand, about 20 to 25 voters were there during this dead period where they couldn't vote. A few did leave to catch the bus to go to work. That's the numbers we have. We actually ran totals. The last mayor's election, 37% of the voters, actually it was less than that. I can give you exact numbers. Mayor's race in 2010, 27% of the voters voted at Moortown. This time, 37% voted, so it was an increase of voters. We hope no one didn't get to vote, but we know what happened. We also had a few precincts where the custodians, who are employees of the school system, are notified by mail, and they send a receipt back, and they're told by mail what time to open the polls up. Well, some got there late. And we have about 6 precincts that happened at. Most of the precincts opened just a few minutes after 6 o'clock, but there were a few that did not. Warner Park, it was open at 6 o'clock. 6:15 at Corby's, 6:50 at Fairfield, 6:55 at Huntington, and Caddo Magnet, the custodian, showed up at 6. We got that open about 6:15. And just so you know, the clerk of court is responsible for the instruction of the commissioners and the tabulation of the ballots and taking care of any issues that happen on the day of the election. But the drayman or the delivery man, that's a Secretary of State issue. And the custodians are issues of the school board and of the different agencies that the polls may be at. So I threw you a lot real quick, but does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask?
We got a few commissioners that are on board. Commissioner Epperson, do you have any questions since you were
I'm
second?
gonna go by the board.
I thought you were already asking. Commissioner Baker?
Okay.
Don't the secretaries, the clerk of court, don't you all pay the custodians though?
The custodians are paid by the state. The only people on salary by the clerk are the individuals you see here and the other people who are out. But the
poll workers, the commissioners.
Right, the poll workers, the commissioners that work there, we just turn their payroll into the state. Their check comes from the state.
Who's responsible for when machines break down?
When the
Drayman?
machines break down, we contact the warehouse. The warehouse is employed by the state of Louisiana. Now it's basically manned by part-time employees, and it's very understaffed. So
Yeah, because one of my precincts had 2 broken machines for a couple out from like 6 to 10.
right, and that was pretty much parish-wide. The machines are, I would say, Diane probably could answer, 15 years old. They were very high-tech when they came out. They've worked very well, but they are coming to the end of their lifetime. And those are replaced by the Secretary of State.
So let me ask you this. What are you all doing anything to try to fix some of these issues, or?
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad you asked that. The first thing we're doing is preparing a letter to the Secretary of State. We have our attorney, Ben Politz, working on that as we speak. We've met this morning with him, voiced our concerns. Yesterday we talked to Representative Norton, and she expressed her concerns. We've putting that into a letter to go to the Secretary of State. And that letter basically concerns everything that we're talking about right now, from the age of the machines to the conduct of the drayman or delivery man. So we are working in that as we speak. We're also going to personally visit the school board to talk to them about the issues at hand with the custodians. We don't want to put a lot of blame on them. There's confusion on Election Day, as with many people, that this was a federal election on a Tuesday, so the polls opened at 6. The next election in December will open at 7. So,
Do it on Saturday?
yes, on a Saturday. So that does confuse some of these people that are involved, but they do get a letter that tells them to be there at the time they're designated, and they sign a receipt and mail it back to us that they got that letter. But we will meet with the school board about that. We're also, I talked to Charles with the commission. We're also working with the computer system that will send out messages to all the commissioners, custodians, principals, everyone involved in elections, to remind them of their duties. So
Did you all let them know how many voters y'all lost?
we don't know how many we lost. We don't think we lost very many, according to the commissioners that were working at the precincts. But yes, there were a few, and a few's too many.
When you're dealing with a politician, one lost vote is a lot.
No doubt, ma'am. I agree.
Thank you.
Commissioner Epperson?
Mike, how long has this bid process been in effect for the contract deliverers?
This gentleman's been on board for about 1.5 years or 2 years.
But I mean the process as a whole.
I've been at the clerk's office 36 years, and we've never had this problem until now.
Right, okay. But it's always been contract?
Yes, sir, it has always been contracted. Johnny Gilbert
And this
was...
guy has been on a year and a half.
Yes, sir, and if I remember, I want to ask Dana a question. This was his first parish-wide election in both, with both Caddo and Bossier. So this is the first time he had Caddo and Bossier delivering to every precinct. And there were problems in Bossier also.
Okay. Yeah, I don't consider that as being an excuse, especially on anything as important as voting, you know. People in South Africa and all those places waiting in line miles long and decrepit conditions. I don't care if our machines are getting old, but if you got the machines and you know they old, you ought to have the technical staff sit there in the event that something happens. You know what I mean?
Sir.
Like an airplane up at 36,000 feet and you hear a noise, you can't pull out on the cloud and expect to raise the cowling.
Right.
Yeah, that's no excuse either, you know. Okay, you said like one precinct opened at 6:55. Is there a protocol or is it a given that based upon the tardiness of this situation that you can automatically keep those polls open 55 more minutes instead of closing at 7? Shouldn't they have been allowed to stay open till 7:55?
The way that's handled is it would take someone to file a suit to a judge to order, and a judge would order us to extend the
Yeah, in other
hours.
words, yeah, that's a new deal. Maybe it's something that the state legislature should take up. Maybe we can do some kind of law. If you're 45 minutes late for whatever reason it is opening the poll, then that poll should automatically have the right to stay open 45 more minutes. That's the way that I see it.
Yes, sir.
I understood that there was some situation happening like that in some places, not here. However, they did file an injunction in time to get that done. But I think that should be automatic. Would you copy, now the reason that I called, and I called your office, of course, I knew the line was going to be busy. I didn't have time to go down, but I called Kevin, and Kevin did find someone and gave me an answer. Would you copy the commission as to any and all problems relative to voting that we've encountered in it, like you said, that your attorney Politz is working on this now? Would you have him to copy us? Because see, people think since you all are with the parish that it's our direct responsibility.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, that's my fault. I never paid attention. I thought we, our staff delivered those machines out too. That's why I was so concerned. So if you would copy us on any and all concerns, because I think we get calls from, I guess before the Supreme Court knocked down this plea clearance and all this stuff, we used to get calls from the Civil Rights Division asking the commissioners what problem did we encounter, you know, with voting and things of this nature.
Right.
But would you copy us
Yes,
on any and all concerns or issues that arise relative to voting during each election?
Right. And as I said when I stepped up here, we would appreciate help from the commission in the communications with the Secretary of State to make sure they understand these are problems.
Well, if you let us know that you have them, I'm sure, because you know, we need to do a resolution to him. You know, I'll pick up the phone and call Shelby, and we got one of his associates in there. He'll come up at the drop of a hat with us. But that's an issue. But like you say, it's the first time that I've noticed a situation like that, and that's why I was so concerned, because all the people start calling me because they think we are directly responsible for not only putting the commissioners there, but responsible for getting the machines out and all those things too. That's all I have.
If you think it'll help, are you saying that you think we need to write a letter to the Secretary of State too?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Wilson, if you will get with Mike and maybe get Ben's letter, and we can draft a letter also to send to the Secretary of State. I'll sign it as president, addressing our concerns too. Basically, hit them with a double-edged sword on the problems that that y'all have experienced, but it's ours too. So maybe if we can do that, that would help. So, Commissioner Johnson.
Mike, got a couple some concerns and issues. First of all, Ken mentioned one about the phone lines being busy, and I said trying to dial the number for at least 30-45 minutes to try to get through, because I had received a call from one of the commissioners at one of the precincts. So it looked like election day you might want to have multiple lines that people can call into so you don't get the busy signal back to back to back.
Yes, sir. Generally, that doesn't happen with us. We have 6 lines that we're working. We had 6 people polling, working those lines, and these are the phone calls we received. So
That's a lot.
that's a lot. And we feel like if you did receive a busy signal, it would be surprising because I was calling in the same number talking to the clerks, but we will look at anything that you think we need to look into as far as that's concerned.
Second issue is when you do have those machines that do break down, are you identifying those machines by the numbers so that the next election, if those machines show back up, that they have some type of repair certificate with it?
Well, again, these people work for the state.
Right,
But we do-
It's our responsibility to
Right.
make sure that those machines are working. Even though they work for the state, they can offer a certificate that that machine has cleared through whatever deal because you put in a ticket to say that it needs repair. So once they repair it, they should have a certificate or something that says that this machine has been repaired.
We-
Would you come to the mic?
There's a call log that is, the calls for broken machines go to the warehouse where they have a call log, and then they also have to log in what they did to repair that machine. They go out to the precincts and repair that machine, and then they make their notation with their call log. I think what was happening Tuesday is they had so many machines that had issues, they couldn't keep up with keeping them repaired. And so each time, it's like the intern, I think they call it a motherboard, which is a part of the programming goes out. They have to replace that, and the machine is fixed on the site, on the voting site. It just takes a while because there's so many machines that are experiencing these problems. For the technicians to get to all the precincts, it just takes a while.
Okay. My next issue is the precinct that was at, the 2 precincts that was at Newton Smith that moved to Southern University. Some people said that they didn't get a letter in the mail or a card in the mail saying that their precinct had moved. And then there was not any signs at Newton Smith telling them that the new precinct was at Southern University. And then when I did finally get through, I was told, well, that's a Secretary of State issue. Well, Secretary of State is in Baton Rouge and we in Caddo Parish. He can't help me at 9 o'clock. So basically what I wanted was just some signs directing people or something to direct people at Southern University so that they know that that's what they needed to do. I did contact Woody, and he actually had someone from staff to be there to direct people over, but we need to have something in place when we move a polling location that if people don't get the card, that they show up, that they can say, okay, it's relocated to another location, and tell them where it's at so then they can go vote.
We do have a procedure in place for that. Diane, you want to come explain that? So,
Anytime a precinct changes locations, it's my understanding every voter in that precinct was sent a card by the Registrar of Voters office to tell them of their new polling place. But the law requires anytime a precinct changes locations that a member of the parish, an employee of the parish, must be stationed at the precinct for the next election to direct people to the new precinct. But as far as the parish is responsible for securing the locations and directing anything to direct them to the new location.
Well, at 6 o'clock, wasn't nobody there. And I got a call about that. So that's why I'm saying, and this came from the commissioner at that particular precinct, saying that there was nobody there to redirect them to Southern University.
We're supposed to, Kevin, we're supposed to put someone there, right?
Yeah, we had 7 people out on Tuesday at 7 different locations. And my guy reported in at 6 in the morning. He was in a parish van in uniform, said he was stationed there.
Evidently, they didn't see him, so that's why I got a call
Okay, sir.
about that. But then also at Southern University, I got one complaint that the individual was not able to vote for the city candidates, mayor, city council, stuff like that. And their address was on Freddie Street, so that's inside the city limits.
The way the machines are programmed, when a person walks up, and if it's a precinct that's inside and outside the city limits, if they live outside the city limits, the commissioners punch one button on the machine. If they live inside the city and should, then they punch a different button. And the poll list tells them what button to push. So when you walk in a machine, if you do not see your ballot lit up like it should be, or you cannot vote, they just raise their hand and tell the commissioner, I can't vote, I should be voting on this, and then they check it and just switch the machine, and then they can. I guess that's more of an education process for the voters, but it can be changed if a voter says, hey, I can't vote on this.
Okay, well, I guess some of the people did not know that. Otherwise, they would have raised that concern while they was there, instead of doing it later on. But now that I know, I can let people know that as much as I can.
Right.
Thank you.
No problem.
Commissioner Williams?
I think, Mr. Chairman, hey, Mike, good to see you. You're not expunging records today, you're expunging machines.
Might expunge you if you don't straighten up now.
I was thinking, most of the question I wanted to ask you, Mike, has already been answered in terms of troubleshooting. Do they have any machine in reserve when you need to troubleshoot, in case say one break down instead of technician? Or do Mr. Toby from Monroe? Because I think that's too much territory trying to cover. Maybe we need to write a letter to the secretary saying need to be more territorial to local contractors within a certain region. You know, maybe Boulder, Caddo, being right in here. Because if he's not familiar with the territory, I can see him get lost. GPS or whatever. You know?
Right.
So maybe we need to look at dividing the contractor of regional where it can be locally here in this area. Also, when things like that happen, what does it take to recall an election? If all this problem was going on, that was a lot of activity going on that day. We sent people back home and voted after them, discouraged them from voting for the candidate of choice. That was a real serious issue. Discouraged a lot of people. And we got a man, Toby, coming from Monroe, bringing the machine. We got custodians showing up late, and I mean, it's just strange. I know they do happen. I think it does happen. But I want to, in case this, prepare for have a pre-plan in case this happen again, because it just might. Machines are old. We got a young man who contract coming from Monroe. Then we got custodian don't want to get up in the morning. I know it's a federal election, but it seemed like all this information should have been organized and pre-planned before the election. So we need to have a game plan in the future in case this does happen again. We could be proactive and not reactive. So I would want to dialogue with the secretary and maybe expanding their contract to be where somebody could be here locally that's familiar with the territory and the machine. But anyway, Mike, appreciate the work you did.
No problem. And what you're saying is very correct, and we hope this one bad incident, because if you notice, this is the first time we've ever been up here after an election, that this one bad incident, we will make sure it never happens again, or we'll do our best. But we do need help with the Secretary of State.
Well, Commissioner Jefferson, you got anything?
I just want, would you also see if there's a performance clause in that contract? And for something of this magnitude and this important, it should basically be zero tolerance. You know what I mean? If a guy saying he can handle something, can't handle it. Seems like somebody didn't know how to read or something. They're going to deliver the machines to the wrong place. That's simple.
Right.
We should be able to get a copy of the contract when you think, Commissioner.
Well, maybe if Ms.
Don
Frazier
to
can
get
get a
one.
copy of that. Also, Ms. Frazier, if you could see if there's a possibility that we could get state legislation enacted in the event of some kind of man-made discrepancy with a polls open late, that we can automatically extend those voting periods for the period of time that those polls are open late to the dearest hour or something of that nature.
Something a good
Just
little bit
going to
priority.
court, that don't make no sense. I'm not going to
So,
court.
We'll start working on those next month. Commissioner priorities for next year. We can put that on our
Yeah,
list.
they have to be, because, yeah, the
You,
session, yeah,
Is there?
that's it, thank you, that's all.
Don, if you'll get us a copy of that contract so you can read it and maybe give us an update on what you think about that. But Dr. Wilson, if you will stay in touch with Mr. Spence about the letter, because I think 2 letters is better than 1. Mike, we appreciate you coming and all your staff, especially the gentleman on the far end. He's been over there. I think he's woke up now. And Mr. Looney. And maybe we'll do a little bit better in London this week. We just don't know. Okay? Thank you, Mike. Thanks for coming.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to call me.
You still getting called on them expunged?
Yeah. Still call.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike and team. Appreciate it.
See y'all later.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
That concludes my report, sir, for today.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I have something. I have something.
Communicating?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Early in the month, Stephen Lynch and I informed you about the Economic Development Summit at NACO.
Yes, sir.
We asked you to look at that and see how we can
Right.
participate in it locally.
Right.
Have you heard anything?
No, sir, we couldn't, due to time, we couldn't meet the deadlines of the program
All right.
because they required a resolution from this board that they would support it. And we just got it late. We couldn't meet all the parameters of it. We looked very hard at it, but we couldn't meet the requirements.
Are they going to, could you research and see will that be coming up again in the future?
Yeah, we have it on our radar. If it comes up next year, we'll have ample time to take it through the entire process of getting the board's approval to do it. And then, because it does require some commitment on our part as a board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Hopkins?
Next, we have President's Report.
I have one more before we.
Okay, I'm sorry. Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilson, I forwarded you an email, and I thank Commissioner Williams, with the,
Corps of Engineers?
yeah. Is that something that we might could explore to look at cleaning up that ditch in Cherokee Park? Did you get it?
I got it. I'm gonna speak with him about it. Did you get it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
That may be something okay.
It's not immediately apparent from the email if it would help, but I sent you all an email back letting you know I would check with the person who sent it
Okay,
to find out exactly what the
Would be
parameters of the
impossible.
program are.
okay.
They need help.
President's report?
Yes, sir.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Commissioner Lynch. She's not here today. Congratulate her on her recent election and all the other candidates who made the runoff. And I would publicly like to say that I appreciate everybody's support of my election. As y'all all know, I did run for judge. And I would publicly like to thank Erin Lee Waddell Garrett, I call her judge now, who won our race, for all of her hard work. And both she and I ran a clean campaign, and I think it was a positive campaign. It was something good that you can say about both our candidacies, and I wish her the very best luck. Now I will hopefully have more things to say about the President's report for now on the future for at least another month or so, as I can put a little bit more time on the commission. And so I appreciate everybody's support. Thank y'all.
Matthew ain't got nothing to say?
I do thank Matthew Lynn, because he was helping me until he broke his leg and was out of commission. Just now, he says he can go walking now, but
Working that hard?
it's too late. Okay, Mr. Hopkins.
Next, adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on October 23rd.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, seconded by Commissioner Williams. Please vote. And that passes.
Adopt the minutes of special meeting held on October 30th.
Some of them.
Moved by Commissioner Williams. Seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Please vote. And that passes.
Adopt special minutes from November 3rd.
Some of them.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Williams. I'm going to let Commissioner Johnson get on the board. Please vote. I'm already get you on there again. You can catch Commissioner Williams. And that passes. Next item.
Next, we move to public hearing ordinances. Ordinance number 5405, 2014, amending section 35-1 of of Code of Ordinance relative to fees to provide for revised fee for installation of driveway culvert pipe and for revised charges for cost of copying records.
I declare this public hearing open at this time. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anybody who wishes to speak against this ordinance? Seeing no one speaking, I declare the public hearing closed and moving to our next item.
Next, we move to ordinances for final passage. Ordinance number 5405 of 2014. I won't read
So
it.
moved.
Okay, got a motion by Commissioner Escaday,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowman. If there is no discussion, which I see none, will please vote. And that passes. Next item.
Next, we move ordinances for introduction by title. Ordinance number 5450, 2014. Authorize the sale of general obligation refunding bonds in one or more series of Caddo, Parish, Louisiana, providing for other matters in connection therewith. Public hearing will be on December 4th. Ordinance number 5451 of 2014. Deemed property surplus and authorize the sale of surplus property owned by Caddo Parish Commission. Ordinance number 5452, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize the parish administrator or designee to sell tax interest. Next, we need to ratify the minutes of the November 3rd work session.
One of everybody's going to make a motion. All right, so Commissioner Epperson makes the motion and Commissioner Johnson seconds it. Please vote. And that passes. Next item.
Next, we move to resolutions. Resolution number 54, to adopt a resolution giving preliminary approval to the issuance of state bond commission for approval of said refunding bonds and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Please vote.
The nurse is in the building.
Nurse Lynn. Paging Nurse Lynn.
And that passes. Okay, next item.
We have no old business, we have no new business.
Yes.
Sure.
We got a meeting though, don't we?
Yeah, shouldn't take long.
What you got, economic?
Yeah, shouldn't take long.
Hey, Todd, I need to